Hello, my name is Kai, and I am a bit of a rambler. I like to travel, learn, and tell stories. Today, I want to talk about walking, perambulation. There are lots of ways to travel once you get to the country you want to visit, or wherever you're traveling to, and walking is unique among them for me. I prefer cycling with just a regular bicycle to a motor scooter or a car or whatever, but walking is set apart from all vehicles. And I really think that walking enriches the travel experience in a way that any sort of vehicle does not. Across Vietnam, I love bicycle riding. It doesn't mean you can never hop on a scooter, countries are big, but walking is very satisfying to me viscerally and holistically for the travel experience. So you should spend a long time walking one day for the following reasons. One, you will see things that you would not otherwise. Even if you're on a bicycle, if you go by a path that leads to a river and there's a shrine down by the river, it's so easy to see the angle of the path and then it's gone and you don't know what was down there by the river. Also, you can't just stop your feet and a bicycle stops. You can slam on the brakes or whatever, but you have inertia, you are going, and it's easier to just keep going, as Newton has mentioned. When you're walking, at any moment, you can just stop, turn, investigate what's interesting. And it doesn't feel like you're interrupting any journey or when you're walking, stopping to check something out is part of the walk. You aren't betraying your destination, you're making your journey more interesting. So just that, you will see so many things that you wouldn't otherwise see. Little paths are a huge one that lead to the biggest wooden handmade temple you've ever seen, or, I've got a great one. In Italy, I was walking and this tiny trail off to the side led to a tomb in the side of a mountain, a crypt. And I just walked in and got to visit a tomb that I never would have seen if I was even going as fast as a bicycle. Probably if I was walking a little faster, I would have missed this. But the attention to your surroundings that walking affords you while traveling will allow you to see so much more that you wouldn't otherwise using any sort of vehicle, especially wildlife. Japan is a great example of this. When I was walking across Japan, I went over this middle hill. It wasn't a mountain, but it wasn't a berm. And I was halfway down the descent when I just looked over and there was this wispy shape of something. And then when I looked over, I realized it was a deer, and I saw it for a split second before it appeared to just jump vertically a couple times straight up a hillside that was almost vertical. It was breathtaking to witness, and if I had any kind of vehicle, that deer would have heard me a long time ago, but I was slowly plodding my way down a mountain, and so it didn't know I was there until it suddenly did, and then turned toward me, so I was able to see it. And that experience is one of the coolest things. It's one of the strongest memories I have from visiting Japan among so many. I'm going to talk about how it feels internally for me to walk around relative to other modes of transportation. My mind sort of changes and slows down and connects more with all the stuff around me. So like I said, you'll be more aware of the things happening around you and you'll find the cool little paths or notice animals you didn't or whatever. But more than that, my mind itself is part of the landscape I'm going through rather than an object passing through it. If I'm on a bike or a car or anything, then everything's outside of me and I'm moving past it. But if I'm walking along a road or along a path, then I am still very connected to the earth that I'm walking on. It's very heartbeat of the earth. Step by step, instead of an observer, I am part of the tableau of the environment, of all the animals that I'm walking through. any sort of vehicle or speed or anything other than the natural rhythm of pedestrianism isn't bad and can be fun, but it doesn't feel the same to me as walking. Once I'm walking in a country for an extended period of time, I settle into the country and it makes more sense to me being in this different place with different languages and food and all of that. But if I'm walking through it, then I'm walking through it just like I walk through the country I'm from or wherever else. So I'll just say, like, the general vibes of walking around are very relaxing, and I get in tune with where I am much quicker. Whenever I move to a new place, the first thing I do, even if I'm going to get a bike or anything like that, I walk around my neighborhood first. Obviously, if I'm backpacking, I'm walking right away. But that's why I like walking between cities, because even if I'm not familiar with each city, walking between them and being part of the environment just feels so comfortable and settles me in that country in a way that nothing else really does, which really helps with interaction, both my willingness to interact with people and people's interest in interacting with me. If you're on any sort of vehicle, if you're in a car or on a bike or on a scooter, whatever, people are less inclined to chase after you and wave you down, unless you're extremely rare in that country, in which case it might be a good idea to get a bicycle or a car so you don't have to stop every time you're flagged down and asked what you are doing there. Even on a bike, you can be stopped and have an interesting interaction. But when you're walking, you are giving up any outward affectation of busyness. You are clearly not too busy because you're strolling. You're walking down the road. And I find that calms other people down as well. They're not trying to grab you to say hello, or they're like, oh, I have to get this in real quick. They will more calmly approach you and talk to you, and you will have conversations with these people where you will learn things you never would have otherwise. They're interested in meeting you, talking with you, and when you're walking and they introduce themselves, that's the only time where they're going to be like, it's a very nice day, right? Because the situation and the context of you casually walking down the road is so much less dire than it otherwise would be if you were moving at a speed in which they feel like they have to get out what they want to say. Instead, you can just say a few things. How are you? How's your day? Where are you going? Where are you from? Great. Have a great day. And it's a very calm interaction. Or they'll be like, just so you know, there's an amazing temple 5 feet down this road that you didn't see when you were walking by. Walking just sort of chills everybody out and puts you on equal footing with the people around you. So again, you become more part of the environment, cultural or otherwise, and people feel more comfortable saying hello, and the whole interaction, I feel, is much more comfortable when I'm walking and I see someone, instead of someone waving me down on a bike or something like that. Then there's taking your time. You obviously must take your time more than if you were moving around the country in any other way, but if you're walking around, you can spend all day on a couple streets very easily, because each shop has 1,000 things, and yes, you can stop on your bike and ride to the next one, but it feels weird if you stop on a bike, look at the store, and then go to the next shop 2 feet down and look at all the store. If you're on a bike, your mind is still moving forward, so you're more likely to dismiss, or I am more likely to dismiss, like a cluster of statues as, oh, that's 100 statues, and then I move on. Whereas if I'm walking, I'm in this slow, more zen state where I will notice, like, oh, there's owls and lemurs and bobcats. Like, there's all these different statues in that pile of something I would just dismiss as trinkets if I was in a more excitable, heart-pumping state. Walking just makes me pay attention more, and I'm in a mental state, a more relaxed mental state, to appreciate what is there, no matter what it is. If I'm walking down a isolated mountain road and not in a market, and I see an amazing flower, this has actually happened. I'll stop and look at a plant and realize that I've never seen that plant before in my life. This is a unique plant that I'm completely unfamiliar with, or a bug, like just completely unfamiliar with. And because I'm walking, my brain wraps around this new experience and tries to catalog it and extrapolate from it. Like, what does it mean? Is it here? Is it pollinating something? And it's a much more interesting way for me to consider the world around me. If I'm walking, especially after I've been walking for a while, like a couple hours, I am so relaxed and accepting of whatever is around me, and I just let my brain play with whatever new experience shows up, or conversation that I'm having, or music that I'm hearing. Whatever is happening while I'm walking, I'm much more willing to be considerate, as in to consider what is happening. And it doesn't have to be important. It doesn't have to be the most significant experience of my day. It's very enjoyable to leisurely examine a new plant on a walk, or some new clothing that you're unfamiliar with from your own country, but everyone is wearing today. And it's so healthy. Like, obviously, exercise is good. Don't know if I'm breaking any scientific barriers with that statement. But I feel good while I'm walking in a way that I'm not anticipating the health benefits. I feel healthy while I'm walking. And I also feel healthy while I'm jogging, but there's that initial blood pumping and exciting thing, and bicycles or cars, I'm paying too much attention. And when I'm walking, I just know that it's healthy. I can enjoy that. And every step, I feel like this is good for me. This is also good for me. And I can just feel good about what I'm doing for my entire trek. And you don't have to be good at walking in the beginning, especially if you're backpacking. I hear this a lot. People are worried about the physical strain it will take to carry a backpack and walk. But everyone I've known who backpacks adapts so quickly to the exercise. And yes, I am talking about very young backpackers. I'm talking about 50, 60 plus backpackers. I'm talking about backpackers with physical disabilities, like they had knee surgeries before. Even chronic pain. Walking and getting into that zone seems to help with that, according to other backpackers I've met. After a day, you will walk further than you did the first day. After a day, your pack will feel less heavy than it did the first day. Or at least everyone I know has that same experience, and I certainly do. I was kind of worried the first time that I traveled long distance on a backpacking trip. I'm not sure if that was Japan or not. But after a couple days, I was like, oh, this is much easier. And then after a week, I could just walk all day with this backpack on my back. Literally walk all day, taking a few breaks every couple hours or something. And now I'm not worried. I've backpacked through tons of countries and between cities, and I just know that my body will very rapidly adjust to the pace I put it through. You don't have to worry about your knees or anything like that. You just walk, and you know you're doing something healthy. Which I want to point out is huge in other countries relative to where I'm from, the States. Our old people can't walk. A lot of them don't and can't, and they have motor scooters, or they just sit at home all day. Or if they do make it outside, uncomfortably shuffling down the road, each step clearly hurting them. And that's pretty strange for the rest of the world. In most other countries, old people can walk by themselves to the grocery store, walk up and down mountains, not the same as if they were 20 years old, but perfectly comfortable with their own mobility and independence. And exercise is the obvious delineating factor here that I see everywhere that people are more active. Especially in Asian countries, there are exercise parks and people are walking or dancing together and moving. People are moving. And you can be any age and continue to walk. You don't have to worry about jogging, messing up your knees when you're 80 years old because you can still walk. And I really think this contributes to the amount of mobility, just the level of mobility in general that I see in a lot of countries that are absent in the US, or at least greatly minimized. We don't have a particularly healthy aging population, whereas many countries do have very healthy aging populations. Having met so many older people who move around still when they're older, and them invariably being more mobile and energetic than the people I knew back in my own country, I'm even more motivated to keep walking and keep exercising the older I get. I'm completely anecdotally convinced that walking will keep me in shape, and I'll do stretches and, weights and the other stuff, but walking, just keeping your body moving, seems like the magic bullet to a lot of the problems an aging population usually goes to, a lot of the physical problems. A lot of these directly play into this whole putting your hands directly on the culture experience that I get only when walking through a country or walking among neighborhoods in a country. I can't get it if I'm in a vehicle, even on a bicycle. It's a different experience. I'm not inclined to stop my bicycle, get off, and touch something. But if there's a statue and I'm walking past it, I'm much more interested in how they carved it and how smooth those carvings are after 400 years. Like, what does it feel like, unless you're clearly not supposed to touch it? In which case, I totally never have broken those rules, unless the statue looked really cool. The feeling I have while walking through a place versus any other mode of transportation is so clearly holistic. I care about all the details on the murals they have in Lisbon's mosaic sidewalks, much more if I'm walking past them and necessarily contemplating them, because I'm moving at a speed that I can't help but take in their entire picture. Every aspect, whether it's cultural or personable or compassionate, considerate, architectural, anything I'm in at the time that's informing me about the new place I'm traveling, or honestly, even at my hometown, is heightened, elevated, and connected by walking among it. It's that sense of unity, community, just I become much more a part of something when I'm walking in it, when my footsteps are echoing off the walls, in Morocco, these giant, crazy, twisty alleys. It feels so much more viscerally like I'm part of that world. And you know what? Since I am talking about this, I'll come clean and also say that I play walking games. I used to play Pokemon Go. I'm playing Walkscape now, and that's a fun way to supplement your interest in walking. If you have little achievements that you can achieve in the game by the number of steps you walked, like those are so great for just having fun while you're walking in a different way, knowing that however long you walk, you'll check in and it'll be like, great work, you mined several gold ore, or whatever it is. You can also play a fun game while you're walking, and all you have to do is walk. All of these walking games are based on the distance you go or the landmarks you visit and that kind of stuff. And a lot of the landmark ones, like Pokemon Go, I was playing Pokemon Go in both Taiwan and Japan while I was walking across those countries, and I visited so many places that were marked on a map, and it said 7 miles away, and I just shrugged and be like, all right, I'll go check that out. Because I had already seen, like, they're going to take me to a cool temple or a public bath or, like, something interesting culturally that I wanted to learn about. I was always interested in seeing a new one. And, yeah, those walking games just made my trek that I already enjoyed just a little more exciting in the times that I wanted a little more excitement. But they would still lead me to real-life cultural artifacts or meeting points or community centers, something interesting in the real world. And the walking games helped me get to a lot of those places that I probably wouldn't have found otherwise, because I very randomly meander down paths when I travel, especially when I'm walking. And I walk a lot. I've walked from Dublin to Cork, from Tokyo to Osaka, south from Rome, across Sicily, straight across I don't know how many provinces in Thailand, and many more countries. And every walk has woken up my spirit and enhanced my appreciation with the world and comfort within the world around me. And how walking seems to lend itself to making personal connections as well. And a great benefit of that is that you're often given the opportunity to help someone. I was. While I was walking across Ireland, I had the opportunity to help someone off a ledge that looked unsafe and help someone put firewood in her car. While backpacking around Taiwan, I met two first-time travelers who had no idea what they were doing and were very confused how they could survive in the night, and taught them how they could urban camp in Japan or camp on the beach because it's legal and culturally accepted. I taught them new hammock setups and how to tie the knots so they could easily set up and take down their hammocks each night. I met a girl whose backpack had broken while I was in Thailand, and I was able to show her that all you need is a keyring, and that zipper will work just like it always did. Not life-changing events, but it's very gratifying to be able to help people, and while you're walking around, you're going to come across that opportunity. When I was backpacking across Japan, I found someone who had fallen down on their bike, and they couldn't lift it back up by themselves, so I was able to help them get their motor scooter back upright, get them on their way. It feels great to help people, and it reifies your existence and your value within the world. That's what helping people does for me, anyway. So get out there and put one foot in front of the other. Contact me at bitofarambler@gmail.com, and I'll talk to you next time. A note before we go, Decathlon, a French sports equipment company, has 1-second pop-up tents, amazing rucksacks. Mine is still intact after 15 years. Not just intact, it looks almost new. I threw it in the washing machine, and I couldn't believe it looks new when it came out. So if you need any of these hiking things for camping, go to Decathlon and pick them up. Amazing equipment for a very good price, considering the quality and the lasting ruggedness of the equipment. And you can walk across countries for 15 years, like I have, with that same equipment. Oh, they have those hammocks, the exact hammock I use when I go hammock camping. Super comfortable, ultra lightweight.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.